Welcome to another episode of the Elevated Barbers Podcast. My name is Bradford Kelly, aka the Business Minded Barber, owner of Another Level of Barbering, and the very proud co host of the Elevated Barbers Podcast. And I'm here with my man.
This is Delmar, aka the Prince, owner of Royal X Grooming and co-host of the one and only Elevated Barbers Podcast. Let's start the show.
All right, let's get into it. Today's topic is going to be really good. I hope y'all know that we don't really like to waste your time. So we're going to jump straight into it. All right. So today's topic is going to be about barbershops, mobile barbering, or the sweet life.
Sweet life.
Moving into the sweet life.
I'm gonna
And
try
what
not to
is
be
like the
biased.
you said what?
I'm gonna try not to be biased.
Oh, well, now be biased, man. Like get into your feelings about this because Marv is out here stirring up some good conversation. I'll say
Yeah.
that. It's some good conversation about the benefits and the pros, the cons, and what's going on when it comes to barbers and their decision in regards to where they're going to work, how they're going to work, and the strategies behind it. So let's dive a little bit into a little bit of our past. Delmar, when you first got into the industry, did you go into a barbershop? Did you go into a salon? What was your intro?
Man, I don't know what to call it. I would say he was more so of the commercial model. So
What do you mean?
I started at Smart Styles, which is kind of like sports clips.
Ooh,
Yeah, sports clips. What's the other one? Super cuts.
super cuts, great
Yeah, so
clips.
yeah, great clips. I never heard that one.
You never heard of that one? Oh, that
No, I
must
ain't
be a
never
West
heard of that
Coast
one.
thing.
Yeah, it gotta be. But yeah, I started off in that model. So
So
you know,
that's essentially an employee straight up model.
yeah,
Like you go
you're
in there and you get
paid
paid per hour.
hourly. Yep,
Yeah.
per hour, and you have a chance to make commission. And
On what?
um,
Commission on the service that you do or commission
commission
on
on the
the
service and
retail?
commission on products.
Okay.
So and they those type of models genuinely essentially they tend to push selling products.
Hmm.
So man, I believe if I'm not mistaken, I believe the commission for me at the time was 65-35 split. And that
And,
was back in 2011,
and this is
2012.
on top of your hourly pay?
This is on top of your hourly pay, but it's not as good as it may sound. So
Really? So you
yeah.
getting paid per hour,
Hmm.
and on top of getting paid per hour, you're doing a split commission, which a lot of people are already doing when they get into the industry anyway, 65, 35, 70, 30, 75, 25, whatever. They doing a
Hmm.
split commission with whoever.
Hmm.
But you was also getting an hourly pay. And you say that wasn't the
No.
best?
So with those models, again, they tend to push you to 15 minutes or less.
Hmm.
So you may do 3 to 4 haircuts in an hour. I believe at the time a haircut was $15 at Smart Style. I could be wrong, but I believe it was $15 an hour. I mean, $15 per person, and so 15 times, let's just say three. So that's 45 in an hour. But I'm getting paid $10 in an hour. But I just did 3 haircuts, and I get none of
Hmm.
that 45. So
Yeah.
unless I upsold them on products, then I had a chance to make a little bit more. But I mean, the products that they had us selling wasn't the best. Paul Mitchell was really good. Um,
Okay.
Paul Mitchell is really good. I would say that. But other than that, a lot of people wouldn't. At least the guys, they wouldn't buy products.
Yeah.
And um, with Smart Style, it wasn't strictly like a super cuts or sports clips where mainly guys come in. Like there's ladies coming in there too. They might get a chemical service. So it's a lot. So you're definitely working more. You're working more for your money, I would say.
Okay. So with that, a question that comes to my mind is, what are some of the benefits of being in that structure? One thing I do know is, although they may push you to get like products and push products and whatnot, another thing that they really do help you with, and you could correct me if I'm wrong because you've been in that space, don't they push education? Like they push you to learn how to do specific services so that you can kind of grow in your skill set?
So I can only speak to Smart Style, but the way they did things, they would have us watch training videos, which is cool. But it wasn't anybody like really just coming in and saying, "Okay, where today we're going to learn how to do a 90-degree cut," or "Today we're going to learn how to process color." Today we're going to learn how to um, do a bleaching service, color correction, or whatever. So it was basically like pre-recorded videos of um, what their company does and the color that they use. Don't ask me about the color because I don't remember. Um, but
Okay.
yeah, it wasn't like an in-person training, I want to say.
Okay, so it wasn't like straight classes that you were taking. It was
No,
more of videos that you were operating, and then based on you operating those videos or looking at those videos, you would try and implement what they taught you.
basically,
Okay.
basically.
All right. So even the learning aspect ain't as ideal as I thought it would have been.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Now, I will say, if you're going into that type of model or you're starting off in that model, just pay attention to the business structure because I feel like there's some things you can learn in that regard as far as the professionalism and how things may be structured. Not that you can use the same exact principles in a traditional barbershop setting or a suite setting, you may or may not, but just how they run a business, how a business operates, because they have a high turnover rate, but Smart Style and Sports Clips and Supercuts, they all successful. Like they have multiple locations, so
Yeah. Yeah.
you can't knock
Now,
that.
what would you? What I mean, give some insight into what they should pay attention to that you may notice, because you can't drop that gem and then just let them think on their own. They don't. They might not know what to look for. So,
Um,
what would you tell them to pay attention to?
so like I said, they will push upselling. So not just focusing on just the service, but hey, we have products too. Would you be interested in this product? I noticed that your hair does this, or you have this issue with your hair. So I recommend this shampoo. I recommend this hair product. Um, that was something
Mhm.
that I took from that. Just learning how to be a problem solver. That's something that
Mm,
all businesses do.
yeah.
You hungry? What you gonna do? You gonna find a fast food restaurant or a restaurant nearby to go eat at. So
Yeah.
just learning how to solve people's issues, and then also they teach you about client retention as well. Hey, you came in today. It'd be good if I could see you back in 2 to 3 weeks or 3 to 4 weeks, for your service so that we can keep up the maintenance on your service and keep you looking good. Just little
Yeah.
simple things like that are
Yeah.
just, carry you a long way when you get out on your own.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. I like that. So they actually help you with client retention, understanding different things like that, and then also how to upsell, because like you said, entrepreneurs at the root of what all entrepreneurism is. I don't know if that's a word, entrepreneurialism. I be making stuff up,
You
but
do.
it be making
Ste
sense though.
Stephen B. Smith.
Stephen B. Smith, huh? But nah, so as an entrepreneur, I'll say it the way that I know how to say it. As an entrepreneur, the way that entrepreneurs make money is that they solve problems. So whatever a problem is, they'll create a way or a business of some sort that will allow them to solve a problem for a group of people or for a person, and therefore that's how they make their money. So at these establishments, whether it be like a Supercuts, Sports Clips, like I said, on the West Coast, we got great
Great
clips, and
clips.
yeah, bro, the clips was not great though. All right, And then you had what you say, the one that you was at, Smart and Style?
Smart styles.
Yeah, Smart Styles. Okay.
Yeah.
I got jokes on that, but I'm gonna leave it. Um, so all of these different places, they have their own structure, but they teach you how to upsell and solve people's problems. Like they help you diagnose problems. One person that I took a class from, he said pretty much like he looks for infractions.
Mm,
So like a ticket, right? You got your felonies, you got your infractions, you got your misdemeanors. And he said he looks at infractions, like all of these little small things that a person can have wrong with them, and then he provides solutions for it. You know, he's like, "Oh, I see that you got your tail light out, right? So your tail light could be dandruff, or I see that you scratch your scalp a lot. That means you might have like you might need to buy a shampoo or a conditioner that can give you some moisture, you know,
mhm.
stuff like that.
Anti-itch shampoo.
Yeah, anti-itch shampoo or different things. Pretty much, you're using. They teach you how to use your platform and create opportunities for new sales. And one
Mm,
thing that I always talk about, how in sales sometimes we get stuck on trying to sell something, and you always only look at the problem that you can solve, but you also forget that you can also be a benefit to somebody's advantage. So they
mhm,
may already have something that they like or that they appreciate or that you can tell is a high good quality or a good quality that they may have. You can offer a product or a service that will enhance or benefit that advantage that they have too. So it's not always, oh, you broke, you disgusted and all this stuff and I got this solution to your problem,
right.
but it could be like, hey man, I see that this is a really good attribute about you, and here's a service, here's a product that can also benefit that and complement you. So
Mhm.
those are two ways.
Yeah. So the barbershop model. I
Yeah,
know that's how you started.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
say about the barbershop model.
All right, so for me, the barbershop, it is a very 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 good way to start out. It's a very good way to start out, and it's a very good way for you to build your
Mm,
clientele because you. One of the biggest things that I've heard Marvy Marv say, even Will Stam say, is that being in a barbershop, you get a chance to eat off of other people's plate, and it
mm,
doesn't feel selfish. Well, it shouldn't be. If the environment is toxic, then you know you probably need to change shops. But the environment is built so that you can attract a lot of walk-ins, and then the walk-ins will be able to feed everybody that's in the building that's providing services. So, and that's exactly what kind of happened for me. Like I got into a great situation. Like it was like new barber heaven,
mm,
because I got in there and the shop was so known that there was walk-ins like all the time. All the time. We had slow days, which is just the nature of a walk-in environment, but overall, it had a lot of people that would come in. And so I was able to build my customer base very quickly because I had skills. So because I had skills, I was able to, get in there, and people saw that my skill set was superior, and they was just like, okay, I'm gonna come for him, I'm coming for that guy. But as time goes on, you realize that environment plays a bigger role than even the money that you can make, because it will cause you to not like going to work if you're in the wrong environment.
mhm,
So for me, over the course of time, the traditional barbershop environment didn't fit who I was as a person, and I needed to change environments. Now, some people's personality types, they like the traditional, and you can see it in the movies,
mhm.
the way that Coming to America dictates. You know what I mean? Like the barbershop environment.
Barbershops.
Yeah, and it's good. Like it's not bad. It's just for me and where I am in my life, I care a little bit more about a more inclusive environment of everybody.
Mhm,
So I want everybody to feel welcome. I don't want one nationality to feel welcome. I don't want one type of hair texture, one demographic of people to feel welcome. I want everybody to feel welcome. I want women to feel welcome when they come into my shop. I don't want them to feel like they're a piece of meat. And for
mhm,
me, my environment, they came in and It was who gonna get her?
Hmm.
Who gonna get her? Now I didn't participate in the action thereof. I didn't participate in the action thereof,
You
but
stayed
I did
away.
notice it. I did witness it. And so and it has its place. You try and meet new people, all that stuff, whatever. But for me overall, it wasn't the best. But the pros, and this is what I think we have to really, do in this episode is point out the pros and the cons of each environment, because then it
Hmm.
allows the person that's in the industry, the barber student that's watching this podcast, the person that has been in the industry for a little bit, to feel and understand, saying, maybe I need to change environments, or I like this and I want to grow in this environment. And you begin to, understand like the pros and cons of it, and you can make your own decisions. So for me, the pros of being in a barbershop was, like I said, like everybody is bringing people to this shop. Everybody. So if a person is running late, if a person is got a lot of clientele, and a person doesn't feel like waiting, if a person anybody that comes to the shop is it's not free game, because you can't be always asking people, it's like, hey, you want to get a cut with me, if you know they somebody else's client.
Hmm.
But because you're able to get more exposure, then you'll be able to receive more money because people see
Hmm.
you easier, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I said I won't be biased, because I've been a part of pretty much all of them except for the mobile barbering, which I see is becoming popular these
Yeah.
days. Um, but so let's go into the sweet life.
Nah,
And
hold on, what was your take in the barbershop space?
you want to talk about my barbershop space?
Yeah, because you had the privilege of owning or being one of the owners of your own barbershop.
That is correct.
So I mean,
So
break it down for the people.
so prior to that, I was a part of a barbershop in the Gonzales area, Gonzales, Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
Legendary shop, Holmes Barbershop. So that was my first experience in a barbershop. Like, I never went to barbershops and got my hair cut. That was my first experience in the barbershop. And it was cool. It was, for me, I had to grind because I made the transition from Smart Style to another place where I was the only guy in a salon, and I was the only barber. And it was a new place. The ladies that were there, they were established already, and it didn't have foot traffic in the area that we was in. So, generally for somebody who is trying to build, you want to be somewhere where you can get exposure.
Yeah.
And being that there wasn't much foot traffic in that area, man, I was cutting 5 to 10 people a week, like literally. And most of these people were like friends and family. I didn't have many walk-ins. So
So let me make
um
sure I'm hearing you correctly. So when you first got in the industry, you went to Holmes's barbershop,
no, when I first got in, I went to Smart Style,
Smart Style, and
and then I
is that the
transitioned.
salon spot that you're talking about?
No, Smart Style is the place that was inside of Walmart. That's like Supercuts
That's like
and
Supercuts, but that's
yeah.
not the salon style thing that you're talking about right now.
No, the salon style thing. I want to say it was called Air Hair Studio.
Okay.
Okay, so in the lady was real nice. I was on commission base because I couldn't afford to pay her booth rent.
Yeah.
So, she wasn't gaining anything by me not cutting nobody, and of course, I wouldn't gain anything either. So I moved from Air Hair Studio to Holmes Barbershop. At this time, while I was at Air Hair, I was working overnight at Walmart, just because I had
Hmm.
to pay bills, pay, my take care of my responsibilities. I still was at home with my parents, but I still had responsibilities that I needed to take care of. Um, so I was doing that, working overnight, and then I kind of got tired of it, man. Like, really almost I was almost at my end with barbering. I was about to give up, and
Hmm.
you know, at this time, Traven had started cutting. He had finished school, This is 2012, summer of 2012. So he finished school. He had clientele, all of his friends that he went to high school with. He knew a lot of people. I'm, I mean, I'm not gonna say he real social either, but he did know a lot of people.
Yeah.
I wasn't really social like that. Like, pretty much was a person that stayed to myself. Um, but he had that advantage. I wouldn't call it advantage, but he did know a lot of people, and he was doing very well at Holmes Barbershop. And right before I gave up, I was decided to call him and was like, man, hey, do y'all have another chair at Holmes? Like, I'm working overnight. I'm working the air hair
Yeah.
studio. Like, I'm basically killing myself. I'm not getting no sleep. Cause there was some nights where, and I still did this going into Holmes Barbershop. There was nights that I worked at 10 to 7 shift overnight. So I worked 10 p.m., 7 a.m. I would get off, go home, take a shower, eat breakfast, and then go straight to the shop. No sleep.
Mm.
And had to work again that night. So there was times I would be up 24, 36 hours, no sleep. Um, so eventually, I was in the shop grinding, like getting people familiar with my face. This was the walk-in shop. They weren't doing
Yeah.
appointments at the time. So I was getting people familiar with my face. Trey would throw me some people if he was too busy. The other guy, his name was BJ, Brian. He would throw me some people if he was too busy. And the times I wasn't busy, I would just hang out around them, see what they're doing. Because I came in real humble. Like I knew I
Yeah.
could cut, but I came in real humble. I'm like, hey, look, while I'm not cutting, I'm gonna see what I can learn from them.
And that's a key that you're saying, like the environment within a barbershop with if you have good people, if it's not a toxic environment and everybody's just trying to be a leech,
Hmm.
you you can actually go and get game from other people,
Yep.
that are doing better. They can give you tips, they can give you tricks on how to execute what you're trying to do better or faster or whatever. So that's another positive about being in a barbershop environment is all the free game that you can get
Yep.
from those that are around you.
Yeah, and I'm glad that the environment was set up that way, man. Because if I had gone to a barbershop where the environment wasn't right and it was dog eat dog, then I probably wouldn't have
It
made
would have
it.
killed.
I don't know. It probably killed my confidence
Yeah.
on trying to carry on into being a barber. But yeah, if I wasn't busy, I would either be around them watching their techniques or be watching Victor Moan or Captain Smash on YouTube, or I would just leave the shop sometimes. Hey, look, I'm going to pass out cards. We gonna make this happen. So
Yeah.
I, go to the stores and go pass out my cards just to show face value. Hey, look, I'm a
Now the
barber.
difference though, like what you just said, is even more prominent if you are in a suite. You
Correct.
and your ability to get clientele is huge. Like if you
Correct.
can't do that, if you don't understand how like the strategy behind getting clients or getting
Hmm.
customers, I should say, well, you have to earn clients, but
Hmm.
getting customers, if you don't have a strategy behind that, the sweet life is not for you.
No, because you're hidden.
Yeah.
So you're in a building amongst a bunch of businesses. I have the luxury of being the only barber in the suite that I'm at now. We'll talk about that later. But um yeah, you basically have to know you have to know your market, and you have to have good marketing strategies to lure those customers in, and then have the retention to gain them as a client.
Yeah.
So, but just to fast forward, so I went from Homes to another barbershop in 2014, and me and Traven stayed there maybe 8 9 months before we opened up MVP Barbers. That was my first time being a co-owner of, or just being an owner, period, of a business. At this time, I was 27, 26, 27 years old.
Hmm.
So still young, still, young in life, but to have the responsibility of owning a business, like that was huge. But we had so much success early in our career. Keep in mind, we had only been cutting maybe 2 years,
Yeah.
legally, and then we became shop owners. And then, just recently, last year, I departed, and just branched out into the sweet life, which it has been going very well. I love it. I first got introduced to the sweet life when I did the internship with you in 2011. I know you
Yeah,
weren't in the suite, but you was sectioned off from
like
among
it
the
was a suite.
salon. Yeah, like it was a suite.
Yeah, yeah, and so I hope that you guys are picking up a lot of these gems that Delmar is dropping when he's going over his history, because as you are in a barbershop environment, you have to pay attention to the pros and the cons. But
Hmm.
there's a lot of pros with being in a barbershop, and for your level of growth, you want to put yourself in the best environment for you to be able to retain the most amount of clientele. So especially if you're younger, or not in age but in the industry, if you're just starting out and you're trying to build your clientele, a barbershop environment is way better than if you were to get into a suite, because
Hmm.
in a suite you literally have to do everything that a barbershop would do for you, like things that you
Hmm.
wouldn't even have to worry about, you have to worry about them now. And we'll get into what the suite like responsibilities are. But I did want to pull your brain a little bit more about how do you feel a person should enter into a barbershop setting as a owner. There's always the talk of, what is the owner supposed to provide for the barbers, and then they have the conversation of, well, you need to also get your own clients. Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm
Hmm.
not supposed to provide that. But what was your personal take on it? And if you have like a holistic view of it, and it may not be as personal to you, what is your take on those two, that setting? Like, what is a barber? How should a barber enter the barber shop space?
Okay, so just going off of my experience, because I actually did both. I was the barber and then I became a shop owner.
Hmm.
So just from my take, my experience, when I walked into the two shops that I did go into, um, my mindset was I'm gonna cut everybody that is available to me. So that may be, one of the barbers throwing me somebody because they are too busy, or somebody walking in, and when they first walk in, I acknowledge. My thing is I acknowledge everybody. I did this as a barber. I did this as a shop owner. I acknowledged everybody, not just my
Yeah,
clients. I acknowledged everybody that came in,
yeah,
because you never know, this person may become your client one day, and it's not that you're trying to steal and take clients, but to me it's just common courtesy to acknowledge everybody who walks into the room,
yeah,
engage conversation with them. Your clients are going to be your clients, but that
yeah,
don't mean that I can't engage with them. So I know when me and Traven opened up MVP, and then we started hiring people, like we knew everybody's clients, we would engage with everybody's clients, just
yeah,
because of one, as a shop owner we have to have that hospitality to make people feel welcome and feel comfortable, so that they come back. You don't
yeah,
want people to, I know for me, I hate walking in places and not being acknowledged, like I don't matter. And it's not that I'm anybody special, but hey, I'm walking into your establishment, I'm walking into your business,
yeah,
acknowledge me, acknowledge that I'm here, acknowledge my
yeah.
presence.
Acknowledge my life, man. I'm
Yeah,
here. Hello.
yeah. I'm coming to spend my money that I worked hard for in
Yeah,
your establishment. So we would always try to make people feel welcome, feel like family. We used to call it the MVP family,
yeah.
and we named it MVP because it was most valuable um
People.
most valuable people for the
Ooh, I was in
barbers.
there. I didn't even know,
Yeah,
but yeah,
yeah. Now you knew. You knew.
yeah,
So it was most valuable people to the barbers. And we know and we understood that we are nothing without the people.
yeah,
Like, point blank, period. First of all, I want to, say I'm, nothing without God, because I
yeah,
couldn't do this without him. Just, real talk. Like, I knew where my mindset was, and that I almost gave up. And I'm glad that I didn't. I'm glad he allowed me to be in a situation where I can thrive.
yeah,
Um, but then two, just the people that we service. Like, we're not anything without them. I don't care how big your name is. Your name is only that big because of the people that you
yeah,
service down through the years. Like, you're not doing this
yeah,
on your own. If people don't patronize you, they don't come and get serviced by you, then you know, just average Joe. you
yeah. Real
know.
talk.
So I'm always, and I tell my clients, even still to this day, like I always tell my clients at the end of their service, I shake their hand. Some of them give me a hug, and I tell them
Yeah.
thank you because you
Yeah.
don't have to come to me.
Yep.
I don't care how long you've been with me. You can today can be the day you decide, hey, I'm not going to the Prince no more. I'm not going to Royal X Grooming. So I'm
Yeah.
always, thankful for my clients.
Yeah, I always at the end of every haircut, man, I say thank you, man. I appreciate you for letting me, do what I do. And they be like,
Hmm.
man, it's all good, bro. They
Yeah,
always,
right.
but I make sure that I say thank you, and
Yeah.
give a heartfelt I appreciate you, to every client that comes in. And I actually got that from being in a barbershop. Like
Hmm.
I picked that up because I saw another barber doing that. He would,
Hmm.
every time they would get done, he'd be like, appreciate you, fam.
Yep.
And I was just like, oh, that's solid, because that's small things that allow people to understand that you do care,
Hmm.
and it's not not that you're taking, what's that word, it's not that you're taking advantage of them, but you don't,
You're very
where
appreciative.
you're not taking them for granted.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You're not taking them for granted. Like you just expect them. It's like an
Right.
entitlement. Like, man, you supposed to come to
Or
me,
like
man.
you
Shut up.
supposed to come to me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm the
Like
one. I'm the one.
I am him. As they be saying now. Like I am
Yeah.
him.
Himothy.
Timothy. Why are you funny, bro? You are hilarious. But yeah, so okay. Now, so you're saying that a barber that comes into this environment should have a humility about themselves and understand that they have to be just as involved in their own growth as what they feel like the shop owner should be providing. Am I hearing you correctly?
Yeah. So when I walked into those shops, I didn't expect the owner to just give me clientele. Like I came in with the understanding of there may be clientele there. There may be people who are willing to try me out, but I still have to put the work in. I still have
Yeah.
to develop my skills. I still have to promote at this time Instagram, and I think it was Instagram and Twitter had just started popping. But
Hmm.
um it's up to me to promote myself because at the end of the day, I'm working in another establishment, but I am still responsible for my business. Like I
Yeah.
can't hold this person responsible for my business and say, "Oh man, I'm slow because you're not promoting for me." Well, hey, every shop owner is different, bro. Like
Right.
you may go to a shop and they may promote for their barbers, they may provide you products, but it may come with commission, which is cool. That's not a bad model.
Yeah.
But if you're in the model that we're in or that we were in, then you have to come in with the understanding of, hey, if they promote me, that's cool, but I still have to promote myself. And it's still the same way, even in the sweet life. Like I work under an umbrella where Royal X Grooming is under an umbrella, right?
Hmm.
They promote me, when I tag them in social media, but it's still my job to promote my business,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's a key thing that you said is, although you may be in someone else's establishment, it's
Hmm.
still your business.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? The clientele that you're able to acquire is all going to be based on if you build your business. And this is a key thing that shifted for me, is understanding, like, you really truly understand the difference between customers and clients. If
Hmm.
you ever leave a barbershop, if you ever leave a barbershop environment, if you grew in a barbershop environment and you feel like you are him, you're Himothy, then you gonna realize, and it might be a cold awakening, and it also might be validation that I am him, right?
Hmm.
When you move and you see how many people follow you. But if you didn't do your due diligence in regards to building clientele, and you fell victim to the fact that the shop was going to do the work for you, and you blew up because you good and everybody like you and all that stuff, when you move, you're gonna realize that there's a difference between customers and clients,
Mm.
because when you move to a new location, only the people that follow you are your clients.
Clients. Yep.
Those are the ones that you built relationships with enough for them to to change what they were doing to follow you.
Yeah, because some people are loyal to
The
the shop,
location.
the
Yep.
location. It might not be you. They may come and patronize you because you're in that location,
Yeah.
but they may not have any personal ties to you. So
Yeah.
therefore, they fall in the category of customer. I've been
Customer.
saying that for years, bro.
Yeah. It's
I've been
been
saying
true
it for
for
years.
years. It's
Yeah.
been true for years. That man, that was a cold revelation when I got it. When I
Hmm.
moved, and I was killing, man. I mean, at that time of my life, I was killing. I think I was juiced off of like $500 a week. I was just like, yeah, you can't tell me nothing. $2,000 a month, bring it to me,
But at
right?
that time, that was good money though. Well, if you well, not for y'all. You in California.
Yeah.
You in California,
it was
so yeah,
it was cool because I was living at home with my mom. Like
yeah, yeah,
I didn't have too much bills.
yeah.
Like the moment that I wanted to stay on my own and
Oh yeah, that's
and
not no money.
it's that's not I
Yeah.
was paying for
You
gas
pay
and
your
rent.
car note. That's
Yeah.
done.
I was tapped out.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I was excited about $500 a week. And when I moved though, man, four people came with me.
Mm,
That was a cold blow to my ego. Cause I thought, I mean, and I wasn't supposed to do this. So just so you know, if you're about to leave a shop, it is not correct for you to engage in with your client, with the people that you're cutting, and telling them, hey, I'm about to leave.
no,
You're not supposed to do that. You're not
no.
supposed to do that. That is barber, you out of bounds. You're out of
Yeah.
bounds on that. I didn't
I
know
made that
that. So
mistake
I was
too.
all out of bounds. I was dancing out of bounds completely.
Oh yeah.
So I was telling every customer, I was like, hey man, like, do I got your number? And it was like, I mean, like, yeah. I was like, hey man, let me get your number, man. Whoa, 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 man, I'm doing this in front of everybody. Like I had no idea that I wasn't supposed to
Oh,
do
you wasn't
this.
even discreet.
I wasn't even discreet. I didn't even know.
Oh no, I was discreet with mine.
So you was out of bounds, but you was just
I was out of bounds, but
incognito.
I was in bounds. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was tiptoeing the line.
Oh man, I was out of bounds dancing, man. I was bringing all kind of attention to myself.
Man.
I was just like, hey man, you got your number? Let me get your number, man. But I wasn't saying I'm leaving.
Hmm.
Let me get your number. I was just saying, hey man, let me connect with you outside. But that's a clear sign to any barbershop owner that why are you trying to get everybody's personal information?
Hmm.
It's like a signal that oh, they trying to dip. So, anyways, but if you don't have any structure in regards to how people are booking with you or even how you retain those connections, then when you do leave, it's going to be very difficult for you to bring the people that you even think are coming with you. You're not going to be able to do it easily. So there are some ways for you to strategically leave, but yet have connections with them. It's all, but it comes down to learning how to do that. And no, this is not the episode for that. That's a class. So that's a class. We
A
can't
master
we can't
class
expose that.
by
But
Brad.
yeah, yeah. But there is strategy, but there is like some good considerations for you all to keep in mind. But now let's move on to the sweet life. D. We gave some
Wait,
game. Oh, what?
I want to cycle back to being a barbershop owner.
Oh,
So,
okay.
uh, to answer your question, Traven and I did promote for our barbers. So we would, if we had downtime, we would take photos or videos for them and then repost it to the company page, or we would throw them walk-ins, um, just all kind of stuff, man. Like run ads on Google just to make sure that they getting fed too.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to see everybody eat, like not just us. I think I heard um Jay-Z say something before, but he said something along the sense of I'm not successful until everybody else around me is.
Mm-hmm.
So I started looking at, these guys, we work with them every day, and we always use the term, you don't work for us, you work with us.
Yeah.
We have the title, we own the business, but you work with us.
Yeah.
So we successful. We don't want y'all just sitting around and not eating. We want y'all to eat too.
Yeah.
So
And that's a good heart to have, because every barbershop owner is not like that. You know,
Mm-mm.
every barbershop environment is not, they don't build the team.
Right.
But that's really what a barbershop environment should be, is a
Yeah.
team.
Team. And we
A
operated as
team.
a unit.
Yeah. And so every barbershop environment isn't like that. So if you are looking for barbershops, um, pay attention to that, because that can make or break your will to be in the industry. Like that broke
Mm-hmm.
me down. That's why I had to get out of the shop that I was in, because it was not a team. It was completely every man for themselves. Of you fend for yourself, eat off your own plate, and if you can't get it and we got it, that's too bad for you.
Yep.
And I had to endure that, and I could only endure it for a year before I moved into a salon where I was the only barber. And that's when it first began to feel like the sweet life, even though it wasn't a suite yet,
Mm-hmm.
but it was operating like a suite. I had to get my own clientele. It wasn't like I was getting a whole bunch of people. Like we didn't have walk-ins and stuff coming, so it was a little bit different. But I think, and that's really how I grew the most, was because at that point, every client, every customer that I was getting, I was pretty much turning them into a client. Like
Mm.
it was almost like my ability to consider a person a client went from like 25 to 30%, which is in like the normal ratio. Out of 10 people that you see, maybe 3 people is going to be your client over the course of time in like a typical barbershop environment,
Mm-hmm.
because they have so many options in that setting. They could or they could not choose you.
Right.
But when a person is coming to you directly for you, whether they like however they came to you, it could be from you passing out business cards, or it could be like what I had, where somebody referred somebody. It's just like, oh, okay, yeah, go see this person. When that can happen, like my retention rate raised like to like 80%.
Mm.
So if I was cutting you, it was almost a guarantee that I'm gonna keep you, because of how I was able to control the whole environment and that space. So for me, I think that, but then again, I made so much less money in the beginning of that,
Mm-hmm.
because it was just me.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't feed off anybody else. I didn't have walk-ins.
Mm-hmm.
It was, but I was staying at home with my mom. I didn't have no bills. All I was really paying for was gas and my cell phone bill.
Right.
So I was able to build in that space. But you have to see, do you have time to build? Because that took like I would say a good year,
Mm-hmm.
year and a half to get it to where I felt like, oh, I can move out on my own and, be self-sufficient.
Yeah. So let's talk about the sweet life.
All right.
Let's talk
So
about another level of barbering.
like my establishment now.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
I think it's important for the viewers to know your shared experience. You know.
Yeah. So as I was saying, like, I was in the barbershop environment for about a year. And then I moved into a salon environment, which gave me the ability to see professionalism for the first time, appointment systems for the first time. Like you were saying, picking up tools and resources from environments that you're in. You
Mm-hmm.
were able to do it when you were at Smart Styles, and I was able to do it when I moved to this salon called Javant's Salon and Barbering. Well, I added the barbering part once I got there, but it used to just be called Javant's Salon. Well, when I got there, it was a really, really cool transition, because I was able to dictate the environment that I was in at that point. Like I could
Mm-hmm.
create the environment, the music that I wanted to play, the conversation topics that I wanted to hold. Like it was a lot more personal, and that's what I think is one of the biggest benefits of the sweet life, and which for me it makes it more sweet, is your ability to have personal connections with your clients that you really don't get a chance to have
Mm-hmm.
when there's too many people around. And so I would need you to ask me some more specific questions so I could dive into it from that thought process. But generally, that's my initial answer.
So, um, transition wise, do you feel that you've gained more of a personal connection with your clients than you would have if you would have remained in a traditional barbershop setting?
Yeah, because I'm able to connect with my clients on a personal level during the cut
Right.
versus or during the service. Versus before I would connect with them, you know, it's like shop talk, all of this stuff going on, and then I would have to connect with them outside of the shop to try and keep that personal touch. If
Hmm.
and everybody, I wasn't trying to feel like that. You know what I
Right.
mean? I really wasn't trying to connect and have you have my personal number and all of this stuff outside of the shop. I wasn't I didn't want to do that, but because I'm a person that values relationships, I started to dibble and dabble in that in the while I was in the barbershop space, but it wasn't comfortable and I didn't do it a lot.
Mm.
But now I'm able to build like a lot of quality relationships, which is a benefit to client retention. Like it's a huge benefit to client retention when you can actually connect with a person beyond the haircut or beyond the service. When you can get to who they are, what they like, what they enjoy to do, what fears they may have, insecurities that they may have, um, different things that their goals, their plans in life, like all of that. When you can start to get into that space and share those things that's outside the chair, then you can really begin to benefit them outside the chair if you're connected to what you need to be connected to. So that goes back into some more education stuff, but
Hmm.
essentially the meat behind it is in the sweet life, you get a chance to really bond with people
Hmm.
that supersedes what you can do in a barbershop, which leads to client retention. And that is huge.
Yeah, not I noticed that for me when I made that transition from a traditional barbershop setting to being in the sweet life. I noticed that some of the clients who would never say anything in the shop, when
Hmm.
I moved into the suite, I was like, bro, I
You
didn't know you
talk?
can talk. Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought you was mute, but but they start to open up more because they feel more um they feel like it's more personal.
Hmm.
Um and then, too, they don't have to worry about saying things in front of people and then, people hearing all their business, like it's just you and them.
Yeah.
So I was able to make more of a personal connection with a lot more of my clients, and they love this setting better. And then I also have some clients who prefer the barbershop setting because they get to engage with
Other
everybody
people.
else.
Yeah.
I know at the old shop MVP we used to have debates,
Hmm.
sports debates, or just movies or TV shows, just
Yeah.
to keep the conversation going and make the day interesting.
One
But
thing that's one thing I do miss.
I do
I
too.
do I miss having input from other people, like on the
Hmm.
same thought process. We may be talking about sports, like we could talk about that. We may be one thing that I was able to do. So my barbershop, the first barbershop, it was like 6 or 7 barbers or something like that. It was big. I mean, that's not even huge, but it was a good size barbershop for what I was doing. When I went and I moved to Jovance and I was inside of their salon suite or that salon environment, I was the only barber, and therefore it was kind of like just personal conversations. But then when Jovance moved to a new location, they built out an area for me so that I could be like the lead barber, the head barber of other barbers. And so we were able to get other barbers inside of this environment, and it was only 3 barbers though. It was only 3 barbers or 2 barbers at a time that was in here, and so we still were able to keep that that homely feel, that intimate setting, but we were also able to benefit from the other people's engagement into the conversation. So therefore, it was more. It's like we got the best of both worlds, and so currently at my establishment that I have now, that's what I did. I wanted to build out the shop so that it could be 2 chairs, not 5, not 8, not 9, just 2 chairs, so that when I do now, I don't have another barber working with me currently, but when I do, it'll simply be us two, their clientele and my clientele, and we'll be able to have more intimate conversation. But at the same point in time, man, you got real blurry on me. But we'll have the ability to engage other people's thought process, because I think that's that's a very big value point in the barbershop environment, is the ability to connect with other people and to bond with other people. So that's the one thing I miss. However, the quality of relationships that I'm able to build with these each individuals,
Hmm.
I'm like, I'm into it. And my clients have shown very high appreciation to it too.
Yeah, same with me, man. Like, although some of them do miss the traditional setting, they because they are able to open up to me more. Like, I've some of my clients have grown with me because they see
Yeah.
that I'm growing and they see the direction that I'm headed in, and they're like, "Man, I really pay attention to what you're doing, paying attention to what you're doing in life, and I rock with that." Like,
Yeah.
they really become I don't want to say attached, but they really become like a friend.
Yeah.
Some of your clients become like, family. You might have your
Yeah.
ALB family. I got
Yeah.
the RLG family. We had the MVP family. So um I do like that, being in this setting, that I can have those conversations with my clients. And even, man, sometimes we might just even be talking about life, like just, simple things in life, and clients opening up about different things. And um I don't know, I just got a heart for people, man. So I
Yeah.
like this connection of them being able to feel comfortable opening up to me now, whereas before some of them, they wouldn't even feel comfortable, and they would just get the cutting and it'd be cool.
And
Because
be cool.
sometimes I'd be like, man, do you like me, or
Yeah.
what's
Yeah. Like, are we
am I
cool?
not my am I cool, like what's going on?
Yeah, your breath
But
stink probably. No, I'm like, they were like, bro, I don't even really want you to talk to me, man. Your breath stink. But no, I agree with you, man. It's but I wanted to bring this part up too, is the environment gives you permission to be able to charge more as well. Your environment does, your ambiance, the surrounding things that go along with the service
Mhm.
gives you permission to charge more. And that's one thing that I was subject to when I was in the barbershop setting in my first place, was that I was subject to their prices. Now every barbershops have changed now, where
Mhm.
everybody has their own price points and different things of that nature.
Even in the shop.
Yeah, even within the exact same shop, everybody has their own price points and stuff. That's how come it's your business. Like, you really need to see that and understand how to maximize your potential in whatever environment you're in. But the environment that you're in may not be conducive for a higher price point, and your whole price point is going to only be based on the quality of your cuts,
Mhm.
and that limits you in regards
Yep.
to how much money you can actually make. It doesn't
Yep.
matter if you charge $100 for a haircut, you're limited. Even if you're doing that and you're inside of another barbershop, your environment plays a part in regards to how much somebody is willing to make, willing to invest in what you do. So if you're making $100 a haircut and you're inside of a barbershop environment, you could probably be making $125 to $150 a haircut if you were to be in an environment that you can control and that would benefit the people that are paying that kind of money. If
Mhm.
you do that, you would be like, oh man, I could go up.
Yep.
Even if you are charging, and your price point is not solely dictated on only
Mhm.
the service, because you kind of release some of the chains that's on you when you learn how to use other aspects that cause people to be comfortable to spend money.
Yeah, because people pay attention to that. They pay attention to,
Oh yeah.
is your shop clean?
Yep.
You
How does it
know,
smell?
how does it smell? Because I think I learned this from you, and I don't want to give away all your gems, but um, people connect with sensory.
Yeah.
So, I don't have nothing for them to taste besides some snacks. but or maybe a complimentary drink, but taste, sight, smell, what they hear
And what
and
they feel.
feel. So, people pay attention to those things, and depending on what your environment is, like you spoke on, you may be able to charge more. Like, you know, you can't just label your business upscale. Like, you have to be
Yeah.
upscale. Like, you have to
Yeah.
smell upscale. You have to have a system in place that allows you to be upscale versus
Yeah.
just, you know, hey, the environment is nice, it's cool, we upscale.
Yeah.
It's not
And you
upscale.
got
And I'm
somebody next
speaking
to
to
you
me. I'm speaking
smelling
to
like
me because
weed.
yeah, and I'm speaking to me in that regard because I thought that, you know, even when I moved into my suite, I thought that, hey, my spot looked nice. Okay. And I'm in an upscale building, right?
Yeah.
But that don't mean my business is upscale. So now I'm about to start wearing a uniform to work. And I'm not saying that, barbers, you have to wear a uniform, but this is just me. This is my
Yeah.
personal conviction of what I want for my business,
It's a
which,
personal conviction, but it's also game.
yeah,
Like, look the part.
look the
You know what
part.
I'm saying? Look the
Look,
part. If you want to be able to charge higher rates so that you can be attractive to more higher end clientele,
yep, you have to look the part.
you got to look the part. Like, if you, I always think about that. Like, every business has a uniform that they want you to respect, right?
Yep,
If they want you to respect it based on sight, like, they have a uniform.
yep.
If a person came to you and said they showed up into you with a Toyota Corolla, and they had a little cell phone thing that had blue and red flashing lights, right? And they tried to pull you over, quote unquote, and they walk
You're
up
gonna
to
look
you
at
in
them
some
crazy.
overalls and say license and registration. You gonna be like, if you don't get out of here, like kick rocks with no
Where
socks
where's
immediately.
Ashton Kutcher?
Yeah. So it's, yeah, you gonna be on what's that?
Punk,
What was that show?
punk.
Punk. Yeah. So you gonna feel like that because they don't have the uniform. But if somebody,
Right.
they could even be faking it,
Yep.
but they got the uniform, they got that little badge on their thing or whatever, and they come with
You gonna
them right
respect it.
shades, they got them right glasses, and they
You
walk
gonna
up to you
respect
with
it.
strength and they say license and registration. I'm gonna say, officer, I apologize, but I don't know why you pulled me over. Like, immediately. But you play the part. You see
Yep.
anybody in scrubs, automatically you think gonna think dentist, you're gonna
Hey,
think,
hey, man, you taking my video, my Instagram video.
oh, I'm
Cause
sorry.
no, you good. Cause I literally was just thinking this, man. Like, I was all excited. I posted my uniform last week.
Uh-huh.
And I always kind of dress up at the shop, but now I'm wearing uniform, my logo on it. And
Yeah.
I thought, the reason why I want to be in uniform is because, like you just said, if you see a person in scrubs, you automatically associate this person with being in the medical field.
Yeah.
Or if I see, a fire suit, it's a
Yeah.
fireman. If I see, I think I always get these two confused. But I want to say a white collar worker, somebody in corporate.
Mm-hmm.
They may have on a suit and tie with a briefcase. You
Mm-hmm.
automatically think that there's somebody of importance
Yeah.
or somebody making high dollar.
Yeah.
So why can't we look at ourselves in the same light?
Yeah.
Just because I'm not in corporate, does that mean that I can't look the part?
Yeah.
You know, we have to imagine ourselves as being successful. And if you want to attract successful people, like you said earlier, you have to look the part.
Yeah.
So, if I go out, if I can, with my uniform and the way that you dress to work, we can leave work, go out in the public, go to the store, go grab a bite to eat at Buffalo Wild Wings or something like that.
Yeah.
And people will pay attention. I don't know why I said Buffalo Wild Wings. I
It's
hate
okay.
Buffalo Wild Wings. But
Man, that was a shot. I hate him.
they got good sauce though. But uh like we can go out into the public and people will notice us. Hey, what you do? Or what does ALB stand for? What does
Yeah.
RLG stand for? Oh, I'm a barber. And when you say barber, they're gonna look at you differently because, especially being a young black barber,
Yeah.
um,
Bro, I'm gonna
being
give you
young.
some insight. I'm gonna let you finish your statement, but I'm gonna give you some insight into what I'm about to do.
Okay,
Go ahead.
So being a young black barber, people tend to look at you like we have stereotypes.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we play into those stereotypes and just
Yep.
being honest. But uh so a person walking around with a t-shirt on and their pants sagging and say they a barber, and this is no shot to nobody. But if you got a t-shirt on, pants sagging, and you say you a barber, people gonna be like, okay, well, you just like everybody else,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But if I walk in and I look nice, I have on a tire with my logo attached to it, I'm nicely groomed. Hey, what do you do? Oh, I'm a barber. I own my own shop. Oh, really? What? Let me get your info. Let me, you got
Yeah.
Instagram, what you have a business card. So, people are attracted by their eyes first.
Yeah.
It's just like food. If something don't look good, you're not eating it.
Yeah.
At least
Yeah.
I'm not,
Yeah. I'm not either. If it
yeah,
don't
I'm
look
not. If
good
it don't
or it
look
don't
good, I'm
smell
not
good,
eating it.
yeah, pass.
Yeah.
Pass.
Like
That's a hard
chitlins,
pass.
chitlins, like, but we'll talk about that another day.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But chitlins is terrible. But
But what you're
anyway,
saying though is super key. And this is, man, we are giving gems in this episode. If you are in a barbershop,
mm-hmm,
or if you are in a suite, or if you are doing mobile barber, we haven't even hit mobile barber. We probably won't even be able to this episode because this is already kind of going a little bit long. But we dove into barbershop and the suite life because that's the highest ones that we need to talk about. But our Delmar just brought up about branding yourself. Branding yourself. Like if you have your logo, if you have your something that you want people to recognize, create an image for it, right? Like he has the crown, you see it on his shirt. You've seen me with the ALB logo. You got the microphone in front of it. Okay, there you go. You got that. You've also seen his lion. Delmar has a lion. So you have these different visual associations with yourself, but even if it's just your name, it's your name. This is one of the things that I'm actually going to get into in the near future is apparel, right?
mm,
And upscale apparel for barbers and beauty professionals. And I'm not like trying to come out with a whole line of clothes or anything of that nature, but just things that says, like, this is one thing that I'm aware for myself. It's going to say, I am a barber. I don't have a career. I own a business, right? Like, I want you to know that I own a business. I'm not just out here just cutting hair only.
mm,
I want to shift the perspective. Like, I am a barber and I own a business. So when people get to see you, that's why Marvy Marv is so good at helping other barbers. Is he created merch for them to be able to promote that they are barbers, so that people, when
mm,
they see you, they can say, hey, you're a barber? And you say, yes, I am. Here's my business card, all of that stuff. But what Delmar is saying is you can bring light to being a barber in a more positive light, because you can wear a hoodie, but everybody's wearing hoodies.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody's wearing hoodies. You could wear a t-shirt, you're gonna look like every other
Yeah.
barber that got a t-shirt. And
What
especially
makes
if
you
it was
stand
like,
out?
yeah, like especially if it's like graffiti
Yeah.
everywhere and you look like the stereotypes that the industry is really trying to grow out of,
Mm-hmm.
where we're trying to mature and present ourselves as a profession. Like, we go back to being barber surgeons.
Mm-hmm.
We're not supposed to be with the and I don't want to knock it, but we're not supposed to be with like oil changers. You know what I mean? Like, we're not supposed to be in that same light. But
Mm-hmm.
we've digressed from the status that we used to be in,
Mm-hmm.
just by being separated from the barber surgeon guild. We used to pull teeth. We got separated from the dentistry guild as well, and over time we just got subject to looking like we only cut hair. But that barber pole, it means a lot. You
Mm-hmm.
got that red, that white, and that blue. That red represents blood, the white represents bandages, the blue represents veins, and that silver is supposed to be the representation of the bowls in which we put our utensils in while we were performing the services that was causing us to do bloodletting and whatnot.
Mm.
So when you realize that you come from a lineage of success-minded people, like, we were really in king's houses, like, we were there from industry history. Like, if you dive into it, you'll see it. But we're building back towards that. and we have to be able to play the part. We have to be able to look the part. We have to be able to embody what we want to be. So we don't want to be the new age industry rappers because people don't look at it in a positive light from a holistic point of view. You're only going to get that from a certain demographic of people that's going to celebrate you. But we're trying to get to another level of barbering and beauty for ourselves. So that was a
Yep.
long rant, huh? My bad.
Nah, so I think that's a good thing to end on with this episode. And just real quick, I don't know a whole lot about it. I've never been in one, but with the mobile barbering, like I said
Mm-hmm.
earlier in the episode, I do notice that it's becoming popular. And some of the ones that I've seen on, I think it's the Barberville page on IG, they
Oh
look
yeah,
really nice.
yeah.
So, yeah, kudos to the people who are doing that because I know that's not easy either.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's a lot of hard work. I think Drew the barber,
Hmm.
he's on West Coast. I'm not sure if you follow him, but he's nice and he got his own mobile situation. I will say this, do it nice. Like don't have an ice cream truck and paint the ice cream truck and you go
Not
out
the
there,
ice cream truck,
bro, man, looking like what's his name?
big
Oh, what's
worm.
his yeah, big worm. Don't be looking like Big Worm. Talk about do you want a cut? Oh man, that's
Man, this is
it.
my money.
Yeah. Oh man. So yeah, don't do that. Don't. It's just not. Just be professional about it. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying. Like, just be professional about it because that's a very good. Like, people will pay more for convenience if you're willing to
Hmm.
come to them and do all that stuff. That's great, but respect
And
the
be
growth of the
professional.
craft. You know what I'm saying? Respect yourself, respect the growth of the craft. Don't look at it as a hustle, look at it as a real true business opportunity that you can grow in.
Yep.
And if you take that approach to it, man, you can make so much money doing that.
Yep. I agree. So on that note, this has been a wonderful episode. Y'all, please, if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel, like, comment, subscribe, share. Um, and this is Delmar, aka the Prince. I'm gonna get it right this time, Brad. I'm gonna get it right.
You've been working on this all season.
I've been working on it all season. I've been messing up, but I'm gonna get it right today. And I am the co-host of the one and only Elevated Barbers Podcast with Bradford Lamar Kelly.
Okay. I'm Bradford Kelly, just Bradford Kelly, and owner of Another Level of Barber and a very proud co-host of the Elevated Barbers podcast. And we are out. It's time to level up.
Peace.